So, today's video is kind of intimate for me, right? I was inspired. Good rising, good people, and welcome back to my channel, the Queen Coven. And I am your host here, the Queen Victoria. If you are new here, welcome. And if you have been here, welcome back. Go ahead and subscribe and hit the little subscription button so y'all know the deal. You never have to miss my beautiful face. Today's video, I'm going to talk about exhaustion and how exhaustion makes my pussy dry. Now, if you have a problem with the word pussy, then you need to go ahead and click off of this video. This video is totally about how exhaustion makes my pussy dry like the Sahara in the dry season. Okay? Not the wet season, but the dry season, like the dry season. Y'all be watching the Animal Channel when the lakes and stuff dry out and the animals gotta travel far distances in order to find some moisture. They gotta dig deep. That's how I be feeling when I be exhausted, trying to get my libido up and stuff. So anyway, what is exhaustion? I think exhaustion is different things for different people. For me, exhaustion comes from when I'm caring for people and being considerate of people in my life, and I'm not having that reciprocated. That is exhausting, right? I love to care for people. In defining who I am in being a giver versus a taker, I am very much a giver. I give from my heart. However, when I am not receiving, I'll feel it. I'll start to feel it. I don't give with the thought of, oh, I'm giving to receive or I want to receive something. However, there is present a desire to receive. And when I'm not receiving, when my giving is one sided, when my caring and consideration for others is one sided, I get exhausted. And this shows up very much in my libido. So, being exhausted is a thing that unfortunately happens way more often than I care for it to. So, here's a story, right? Um, March 2008, I had my first child. And after I had my daughter, my libido went like, and I'm a person that thoroughly enjoys sex, okay? I love it in terms of how it makes me feel. It's fun. I've always been a person that it didn't take much to get me in the mood for sex because I just like the interaction. I like the connection. I like a lot of things about it. So after I had my daughter and my libido went and I just wasn't in the mood for sex anymore, I literally cried. One day I cried because I was like, my sex life is over. I don't want to have sex. I'm not enjoying sex. Like when I did have sex with my ex-husband, it was like, I'm not enjoying this. I don't like this. Oh my gosh, I can't believe. I didn't know what the issue was. So I just really thought my sex life was over, right? I'm like, oh, sex life over. I'm not having sex if I don't enjoy it, right? So pretty much it's over for me. But then, like, that happened. My daughter turned a year old, and I still wasn't quite there with sex. So one day, I was on my computer and I decided to check an old account of mine, an old email account, and I hadn't checked this account in a long time. It was an account that I had in high school, and I just logged on every now and again to see if anything came through. So on this particular day that I decided to check the account, there was an email from my ex boyfriend, and when I checked the email, um, he was like, this is his name. I didn't know whether you use this account still. I know I didn't have your phone number. But if you get this message, call me. Oh my gosh, my whole heart soared. Now, this is a person that I had amazing sex with for 2 whole years. Okay, 2 plus. But anyway, so um, I was like, man, I shouldn't call him because our relationship was kind of toxic, but it was also very beautiful. Um, it didn't really cause me a lot of damage, right? Even though it was toxic, it didn't cause me trauma, if that makes sense. So anyway, I was like, I shouldn't call him. I shouldn't call him. But anyway, I ended up putting his number in my phone, and before I could even get out of the door good to what I was moving on to, I had dialed his number and we were on the phone together. And it took us zero time to set up a meeting, and immediately when we got together, we just fell into each other. And what libido issues, they were gone all of a sudden. Um, my pussy was incredibly wet. The sex was incredibly nice, okay? And I squirted for the first time ever. I was shocked. He was shocked. He was like, oh, that's what you're doing now? And I was like, this new for me too, you know? So that was an experience. Now, I still didn't understand why my libido had left in the first place. I didn't understand why I was going through this almost over a year of not desiring to have sex, and then suddenly I'm in contact with this guy. Okay, soul ties, yes, 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 all of that. But that doesn't really explain the 0 to 100. Okay, it doesn't. So over time, I learned that I got like that because during my pregnancy, my ex husband was not caring for me when I was pregnant. Now, I'm about to tell y'all another story, and y'all free to judge, but judgment don't help you, okay? It don't help you with your life. So, I'm just going to say that. When I was pregnant, my ex-husband was not caring for me during my pregnancy the way I needed to be cared for, and the way that I asked him on several occasions to care for me. He outright refused on several occasions. And I remember that during the time of my pregnancy, I would call my ex up, and he would do things that I felt like my ex-husband should have been doing. He'd rub my feet, he'd rub my belly, he'd walk with me, he'd talk with me. I sit down on the picnic bench at the park where we'd be walking, and he'd give me a massage. It was just the intimacy that we shared. We were not having sex at the time of my pregnancy. Um, I hadn't had sex with him in a while, but he was still being caring towards me. He was still being considerate of me. He was taking care of this pregnant woman that was not pregnant by him, you know. And I think that the me knowing that and having that experience turned me off to my ex-husband. Like, I just had no desire to have sex with him, and I've learned that as I've gone through other relationships in my life, and I see people that, you know, that maybe were caring for me and being considerate of me in a relationship, and then they stop, and then suddenly I stop being attracted to that person, or I stop getting aroused for that person. I'm no longer turned on by that person because I don't experience them in the same way. Um, and whenever I was pregnant, this guy, you know, who isn't my child's father, was caring for me and being considerate of me and checking in on me and things like that. And even though that wasn't consciously in my mind, it was something that my body remembered. And and it was just a flow that he brought with him. So in this, Come As You Are, that book helped me to understand that there are things that turn you on and that make you go. And as much as you're revved up and turned on by that thing, there are also things that can make you come to a screeching halt. No matter how much you desire to be in the mood, no matter how much you desire to, and you like, dang, this usually super turns me on, and it probably still does, but because there's something else that's making you stop, that's not happening right now. I'm usually hetero romantic, right? It's not necessarily a preference, but it is a thing for me. I date and have relationships with mostly guys, and because of the social culture and the social climate of the way that people think that romance goes and how you have to be in a relationship or have a certain type of feelings for a person in order to care for them, getting me in the mood or getting myself aroused and wet and all of those things that I need to be is not easy when it comes to sex and things like that at this point in my life, because of the way that people think about sexuality and things, and because it does take me time to kind of cultivate a connection with the person. Like, yeah, I can have a sexual relationship with you on the first time I meet you, but it won't be as good as when I have that connection of being cared for and being considered, and things like that. And since I've been here in Jamaica, I've been receiving these really cool downloads that help me to understand myself better, you know. And that was just one thing that really came to me, like exhaustion and not really being cared for in the way that I desire to be cared for totally makes my pussy dry. It turns me off to people, you know. It turns me off to situations, and I just cannot get there the way that I want to. And I don't know what needs to change. I'm still working on that. I do communicate these things, but people have their ideas about how relationships are supposed to go. And I can't make people do things. But, you know, when people are like, oh, you know, they're trying to hold me to being the sexual person that I am, but they don't want to give me what I need in order to get me to that place, is so crazy to me. And then, like, okay, I got the sex toys, I got everything I need. I've gone through this space where I've learned to care for myself. I've learned to be considerate of myself. I selfishly put myself first in a lot of things. So I don't really feel the need to have a man or anyone, you know, to satiate me sexually. Because here's the thing, right? We like to say that toys don't replace bodies, and they don't, right? But if a body is doing the same thing that a toy is doing, then you make yourself incredibly easy to replace, because a fucking toy is a stiff dick, right? Right there. Like, automatic. And if you're just going to be a stiff dick, then you're a toy to me. Matter of fact, my toy vibrates and it doesn't go soft, and there's no risk of pregnancy with my toy. Okay, so it might be a better option when the things are not happening for me that I need to happen in order for me to get to a place where I want to have really wet and wild sex. Okay, so yeah, that's my story. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I really hope you learned something, especially if you're a guy watching this video. I really hope you learned something, that being caring and considerate and just doing things that don't even require you to spend money, because a lot of y'all complain about, oh, I gotta spend so much money, but at the same time, it's like, you don't want to do the things that because you don't have a certain type of relationship with the person. So you don't want to do the things that like might show that you have too much feelings for a person, or you don't want to. It's very immature, to be honest. And I'm just thinking retrospect on the way that my ex-husband used to act with the situation and the way that other guys have acted with the situation. And I don't know. They have their own things to heal about why they didn't carry on or do whatever they needed to. But of course, me, Victoria, I'm always moving on because I'm always seeking out my pleasure. And if I don't get pleasure from this thing right here, then I'm going to figure out why, and then I'm going to move on. Have a good day, y'all. Y'all make sure that y'all subscribe. Comment below and let me know what you loved about this video or what you didn't love about this video. Feedback is so important. Y'all have a good day, and I love y'all, and y'all take care, and subscribe and share my videos.